Mark in Hitchin has a question for you, Gideon. Mark.
I'd like to ask about protests, but before I go there, Gideon, I've watched the full 13 minutes of the unedited version of your conversation with that police officer.
Yeah.
So can we just go through that?
It was actually longer than that.
I know.
I was there. I was there for.
Am I going to go off
probably.
Mark? Well, you're going to have to ask a question, I'm afraid, because you've got a completely full board.
Yeah, sorry. So, with respect, you turned around to the officer. You tried to run through him when he tried to stop you getting on the road. You said to him when it came to arrest
Mark,
him.
I didn't try to run through the officer. I'm sorry, but the officer grabbed me and pulled me to where I was.
Right.
Mark, he was there. Sorry, can we have a little bit of respect for someone who's come into the studio to answer your questions? So please, can you ask your question?
Well, my question is, you turned around to the officer on the video and you said, "You'll have to arrest me." Go on. You actually asked him to arrest you.
Because I'd been threatened with arrest. I mean, I said that I'm going to... No, Mark, you're going to have... If you ask a question, you get an answer. That's how it works.
Oh, right, here's the question,
you've already asked me a question.
No, I'm going to ask you another question.
You've already asked me a question, so I'm going to give you an answer. And then if there's time, you can ask another one, okay? So just hold tight for a minute, Mark. I was threatened with arrest by the officer. I was not trying to run through him or anything like that. I'd been shoved and pushed to that place where I was, and I was trying to go on my way. And there is there is plenty of that. I was actually there. It took quite a long time, by the way, that I was kept there. And whilst that was happening, by the way, one of the reasons I wanted to leave is that there were people shouting at me all sorts of things. Like there was one person shouting scum, 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 scum incessantly at me. And the police tried talking to him and he said, I'm a gentleman, I'm just protesting, shut your mouth. That's what he said to the police officer. So let's not pretend that I'm the one being disrespectful to the police, please.
I saw that piece of footage and I agree with what you've just said, that there were people saying something to you. But with respect to the police officer, he was acting under PACE Section 24. And do you actually understand what the breach of the peace rules are in this country? Do you understand how the police can arrest you if they feel
for looking openly Jewish?
So no, hang on. If you look
under
later
what grounds?
Evening...
Yeah, exactly. Under what grounds could they have arrested him, Mark?
Hang on. So
are you a lawyer, Mark? Are you're giving us a sort of legal lecture? On what basis? What's your credentials here?
Excuse me. You just quoted Section 12, so please don't criticise me for the moment, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm just curious. Are you a police officer? Are you a lawyer?
No, I'm not a police officer. No, I'm not a police officer. Now, let's just.
So you're sort of citizen lawyer.
The law, because I'm interested in protest law and the anti-protest.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. Thank you. Right. So basically, what that police officer, if you've heard the analogy, people, if I was walking to a crowd of people and a police officer turned around to me and said to me, "Please don't go that way," something might kick off, and I say, "Excuse me, I'm British, I'm carrying on," they can arrest me for a potential breach of the peace because they have to, under that Section 24, stop the breach before it starts, and secondly, they have to protect my physical safety. So
what if they said, Mark, you can't go that way because you're openly black, or you're openly wearing a hijab, or you're openly gay, or you're openly in a wheelchair, or something like that? Would that be sufficient grounds?
Right. When the officer, which you've put the footage online, speaks to you, he explains to you he's worried about your safety, and that's when he mentions.
But this is what they call inverse policing. This is what they call you've heard. You're interested in protest law. They call this inverse policing. It's what they do is they say in order to appease the mob, I'm going to curtail the rights of law-abiding people. And actually, that's not what should happen. If these marches are going on, it's 6 months of this. This is not the first one that's happened, Mark. No, hang on a minute. It's not the first one that's happened. It's been going on for 6 months. And if after 6 months, the police cannot allow a Jewish person to walk near these marches, then it's because they're not providing enough police officers. And I'm agreeing with you, by the way. It's not that frontline officer's fault. He's being put in an impossible position. He's being put in an impossible position by the top brass.
You're talking over me now, Gideon, because you don't want me to speak.
No,
now,
please go ahead.
Let me go ahead. Right. So when you come to a breach of the police can arrest the person who might meet that group of people, and then a breach may take place. Why? Because they want to protect his physical safety. You said you were treated like a criminal. Breach of the peace is not a criminal charge, which you should know. The police can detain you, and when the risk is gone, they can release you. Doesn't carry a fine, and you do not go into a magistrate court, and you're not criminalised. You kept saying I was treated like a criminal. It is not a criminal act.
Okay.
But what you basically... Hang on, let me finish. So
I don't know what you're finishing. Where are you going?
Well, you had a long chat. Can I finish?
No, Mark, I'm afraid your time is up on that. Time is up. I've faded Mark down because we want to give... do you want just quickly to finish off?
Look, citizen lawyer Mark, I think, basically feels that police should be allowed anytime they want to use breach of the peace laws to take people off the streets for being openly Jewish, and they can arrest you. You don't have to be prosecuted to be treated like a criminal. Just being threatened with arrest is enough.